Welcome back here to Vernelli Field on the campus of St. Ignatius College Prep. Second half about to begin. Right now, St. Ignatius is leading St. Joseph 9-6. They scored the first 9 points of the ball game. A touchdown drive on their first possession, and then a couple of interceptions by Caleb Hayden. But St. Joseph was able to stand strong defensively. They held the Wolfpack to a field goal that made it 9-0. And then on a drive midway through the second quarter, the biggest play, a tipped ball was deflected in the hands of Zach Ford, a 74-yard catch and run. Brought the Chargers to the 8-yard line, and then a touchdown pass from there was the 6 points for the Chargers. Both teams have failed two-point conversion attempts in this ball game, as the Chargers tried to go with some trickery in terms of their formation and just ended up throwing an incomplete pass. At this time, we'd like to remind you tonight's game and all St. Joseph Chargers programming is presented by Meatheads in Elmhurst, a place you can enjoy with your whole family from the moment you walk into the door until the moment you leave. Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst. Tonight's game is also brought to you by Cleaver Supplements. Visit them online at cleaversupplements.com. Cleaver Supplements, pure supplements for when genetics are not enough. And our biggest news of the night, we'd like to remind everybody, every fan of Arena Sportsnet, or if this is your first time joining us, we'd like to invite you to join us tomorrow from Lucas Oil Stadium, the home of the Indianapolis Colts, as Brian Snow will be live in Indy, live coverage of the 34th Circle City Classic featuring the Kentucky State Thoroughbreds and the Central State Marauders. Brian Snow will have the call, and we start our festivities at 2:30 Eastern Time. Just log on to arenasportsnet.com, click Listen Live, or download the TuneIn app and search Arena Sportsnet. Once again, giving a huge congratulations to Brian for getting the call of the Circle City Classic, the 34th annual, a big-time game taking place in the home of the Indianapolis Colts. But in our game here tonight, it is currently 9-6 Ignatius, but as I said before we took the break at half, the Chargers captured all of the momentum going into the locker room. Not only that, St. Joe will receive the second half kickoff to get things started here, and that offense really started to pick up some steam, especially through the air. I saw it in warm-ups tonight. Caleb Hayden looked about as good as I have seen him this season. He was leading his receivers, throwing absolute bullets, and we've known about his arm strength all season, but this has been his most impressive passing performance. He does have the 2 interceptions, but those were kind of desperation prayers. In terms of the intermediate passing game, he has had a really strong performance. This kick is squibbed. Ford will take it at his own 24, cuts to the far side of the field, looking to get to the sideline, cuts back near the middle. The ball came out. Who has it? St. Ignatius is saying they do. Who does? Oh, St. Joseph has it. Chargers fans can breathe a sigh of relief. After, well, that always happens, but St. Ignatius, every player for the Wolfpack was signaling that they had that fumble. But at the bottom of the pile, the Chargers were able to recover, and they'll start with the football at their own 28-yard line, trailing 9-6 as we begin this second half. Caleb Hayden will be in the shotgun. 3 receivers out wide for the Chargers. 2 men in the backfield with Hayden. He takes the snap. He'll hand it off to Zion Timms, and he's pushing his way forward. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Not quite sure if he did there. Actually lost a yard there. So it'll be second down and 11 for the Chargers at their own 27-yard line.
Second and 11 for St. Joe's. The ball at their own 27-yard line.
11:35 left here in the third quarter. And second and 11 for St. Joe. Hayden will hand it off up the middle. And that is stopped for no gain.
Stop by Arguela. And a loss of a yard.
Third and about 12 for St. Joe, as the Chargers have come out trying to establish the run game here in the second half. 3rd and 12. Hayden in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his left, 1 to the right. Hayden takes the snap, looking to pass, facing pressure, and he fumbled the football. Luckily for the Chargers, they're able to fall on the fumble at their own 10-yard line.
Ball recovered by St. Joe's.
As Hayden was facing pressure, fumble was forced, but then the Chargers were able to dive on it. It was Shamar McDade Bishop, the offensive lineman, who made the alert play to recover the fumble. So it'll be 4th and very long, and the Chargers will be forced to punt on their first offensive possession of the second half. A good defensive stand there for St. Ignatius after, as I said, this Chargers offense had really begun to gain steam near the end of that first half. 10-13 to play, third quarter. St. Ignatius with that 9-6 lead, and they have a couple of men deep for this punt return. And a timeout has been called by St. Ignatius. Maybe trying to set up a punt block here as the Chargers are backed up near their own end zone. The third quarter of tonight's game and all St. Joseph Chargers programming is presented by Meatheads in Elmhurst, a place you can enjoy with your whole family from the moment you walk into the door until the moment you leave. Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst. The third quarter is also brought to you in part by Cleaver Supplements. Visit them online at cleaversupplements.com. Cleaver Supplements, pure supplements for when genetics are not enough. So it'll be 4th and very long here for the Chargers. Obvious punting situation from their own 10-yard line. 2 men deep for Ignatius, Aiden Casey along with Declan Callahan. They're standing at about the 45-yard line of St. Joe's. Ford's punt is high. It'll take a St. Joe bounce at about the 38, and it will roll near the 45-yard line of St. Joe. So great starting field position for the Wolfpack in St. Joe territory. Great field position for the Wolfpack. But we've seen earlier in this game, they've had strong field position. The Chargers defense has been able to stand tall. 9:53, third quarter. Ignatius with that 9-6 lead. Under center is the quarterback, Donath. Wishbone formation. That's the mainstay on offense for Ignatius. They'll fake up the middle and pitch out towards the left. And finding some space is all the way to the 15-yard line to the 20. What a run there by Aiden Casey.
Casey, the ball carrier, good for your Wolfpack. First down.
First down, Wolfpack.
St. Ignatius has 1st and 10 at the St. Joe's 21.
As the triple option works to perfection. This offense very reminiscent of Georgia Tech at the college level. The wishbone triple option look. As Ignatius is at the 21-yard line of St. Joe with 1st and 10. Donath under center. They give it to Loftus up the middle, and he picks up about 2 yards. So Ignatius at the 19-yard line. 2nd down and 8 on their first offensive possession of the third quarter.
2nd and 8 for St. Ignatius. The ball on the St. Joe's 19-yard line.
They're on the 19-yard line of the Chargers. 2nd down and 8. Donath under center, wishbone. Man comes in motion. And a couple of people were flinching there. Nobody jumped off sides for the Chargers, but that made St. Ignatius reset things. Donath takes a snap, fakes up the middle, will take it himself, and he gets a couple more yards. He's to about the 17-yard line of St. Joseph. So it'll be 3rd down and 6 for the Wolfpack.
17-yard line. 3rd and 6 for St. Ignatius. The ball on the St. Joe's 17-yard line.
Third downs have been big in this ball game. Early in the game, a couple of nice conversions by Ignatius, but the Chargers defense has made some key stops later on in that second quarter. Donath under center, wishbone formation. 1 receiver to each side. Loftus behind him in the backfield with 2 wing backs. Man comes in motion. They give to Loftus up the middle, and he has the first down and more, heading for the corner of the end zone. Is he in? Touchdown as he dove for the pylon on the far corner of the field and scores the touchdown. A 17-yard run by Joe Loftus, and that makes it a 15-6 lead for Ignatius. So a 9-point lead for the Wolfpack here with 7:52 remaining in the third quarter.
Moynihan on for the extra point.
On for the extra point is George Moynihan. The holder is the quarterback, Donath. The extra point is up, and it is good. That will make it 16-6. St. Ignatius here with 7:52 remaining in this third quarter. As I said, near the end of that first half, the Chargers had started to create some momentum offensively, but they stalled on their first drive of the second half. Awarded great field position to St. Ignatius. They took advantage of it, starting from in Charger territory and marching to the end zone. A nice run on a third down play by Joe Loftus, diving for that pylon on the left side of the field. And he was able to get the football inside the pylon for 6 points. Ignatius also hit the extra point by Moynihan, and 1 for 1 on extra points, 1 for 1 on field goals as well. I'll give credit to Moynihan having a nice game kicking the football. And he will kick off from his own 40-yard line. It's a squib kick. It'll be picked up by Zach Ford. Lost it momentarily. He's on the near sideline, and he's brought down at about the 27 of St. Joe, and that's where the offense will come out onto the field. Last drive, Chargers tried to run it on first and second down. And it makes sense that the Chargers would try to run the football. You can't try to pass every play. There's no deception there. But I would imagine after the run being stuffed the way it was on first and second down the last possession, Chargers may come out throwing here. Hayden's in the shotgun. 1 receiver to his right. Twins to his left on the near side of the field. Hayden takes the snap. He's looking right. Has a man down there in Mason, and it's incomplete. At about the 48-yard line of St. Joe. That's where the pass was intended, but it hit the ground. So it'll be second down and 10. 9-6, St. Ignatius leading St. Joseph with 7:41 remaining in this third quarter. And a second and 10 here for the Chargers. Hayden in the shotgun formation. Tim's in the backfield with him. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Tight end in there as well. Hayden takes the snap, facing pressure, just chucks it, and it is deflected and incomplete. Hayden was throwing off his back foot there as he was facing pressure. Was looking for a couple of different Chargers there. Justin Freeman down the field near the 45-yard line and Zach Ford. But he couldn't find either of them. It'll be third down and 10. The pass rush has made a difference for Ignatius tonight. They forced a fumble on the last possession, and there the quarterback hurry leads to a poor throw there from Hayden. Third and 10. Hayden facing pressure again. They'll go with a screen pass. It's caught by Timms. Timms makes a cutback. He has the first down and more. He's out to about the 42-yard line of St. Joe. The screen game has been working well for St. Joe tonight. We saw it earlier. They were on their own 1-yard line. Threw a screen pass to Mekhi Eland. He picked up about 16 yards, and there they get a first down on third and long with the screen pass to the running back, Zion Timms. First and 10 Chargers at their own 42. They trail by 10. Hayden takes a high snap. He'll hand it off to Timms. Timms not finding any space in the middle part of that St. Ignatius defense. Maybe got a yard. Again, you have to commit somewhat to the run game. But this defensive line for St. Ignatius has been playing very well tonight. Not allowing much room. And not allowing the offensive line for the Chargers to create any holes. Snap to Hayden. He's looking right. He's going deep. And it is overthrown at about the 30-yard line. And incomplete. But wait a minute. A flag was thrown there. A flag was thrown on St. Ignatius. And it is pass interference. So it'll be 1st and 10, Chargers. As they pick up 15 on the pass interference. The ball now at the 42-yard line of St. Ignatius. Hayden in the shotgun. 3 wide receivers out there for the Chargers, and a flag is thrown. False start. That'll push St. Joe's back 5 yards to the 46 of St. Ignatius, where it'll be 1st and 15. 6:32 left here in the third quarter. It's 16-6, St. Ignatius with the lead over the Chargers. St. Joe trying to make it a one-possession ball game on this drive. Hayden in the shotgun. 3 wide receivers, 1 man in the backfield. Extra blocker in there. They hand it off up the middle to Javante Bright, and he has nowhere to go. Lost a yard. It'll be 2nd and 16.
Search the ball carrier. St. Joe's has
2nd and 16 from about the 48-yard line of St. Ignatius.
From the St. Ignatius 49-yard line.
Or rather, it's 2nd and 18 from the 49 of St. Ignatius. Chargers need to get to the 31. Play action. Hayden facing pressure. He's going to run with it now, and he is dragged down by his jersey at about the 49-yard line of Ignatius. Got back to the line of scrimmage there on the scramble.
With the initial hit on the quarterback.
And he nearly was able to get away there, but he was just grabbed by the end of his jersey and then brought to the ground. 3rd down and 19. 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter. A 16-6 lead for St. Ignatius. The St. Joseph Chargers with the football now on a 3rd and long. Hayden in the shotgun. 3 wide receivers. 1 man in the backfield with him. High snap to Hayden. He's looking to his right. Facing some pressures. Throws a short pass intended for Mekhi Elam. And it's incomplete at about the 48-yard line. So it'll be 4th and 19. And the Chargers will probably have to punt here. But let's see what they're doing. The punt team is indeed coming on the field. As the ball is spotted at midfield. Here with 5:11 left in the third quarter, Zach Ford, the punter, standing at his own 37-yard line.
Ford and punt formation for St. Joe's.
Deep for St. Ignatius is Aiden Casey. He's standing at about the 20. And this kick goes out of bounds rather quickly. And let's see where they spot it.
Out of bounds at?
They'll mark it at about the 24-yard line of St. Ignatius. So ends up being a solid punt for Zach Ford. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Ignatius from their own 24. Here with 5:05 left in the third quarter. A ball control offense for the Wolfpack. And it makes it difficult for the Chargers to get the necessary amount of possessions to really get that offense rolling. Donath under center takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He'll take it himself. He's down the near sideline. He has a blocker all the way to the 40-yard line of Ignatius. A 16-yard run on 1st and 10 on the quarterback keeper by Doneth on the option read.
Don't have the ball carrier. Good for your Wolfpack. First down.
So 1st and 10 Wolfpack.
St. Ignatius has 1st and 10.
As Doneth continues to masterfully run this wishbone option for Ignatius. Doneth under center, 2 wide receivers out. Few backs in the backfield with Doneth. They send a man in motion. They'll give it up the middle on the fullback dive on the read for a gain of about 1 yard.
Loftus, the ball carrier.
There's Joe Loftus. There's a couple of teams in the state of Illinois that run the triple option very well. Think about Prairie Ridge and Cary Grove in particular. Right now, Prairie Ridge ranked as the top team in the state of Illinois by a couple of different outlets. 2nd down and 9. 4 minutes left in this third quarter. 2nd and 9 for Ignatius at about their own 40-yard line, and a flag is thrown before the snap. It's an illegal procedure against the Wolfpack. That'll push them back 5 yards. So it'll now be 2nd down and 14. St. Ignatius working from their own 35. 3:53 left in this third quarter. 10-point lead for St. Ignatius. Well, they're working with the football on their own 35. 2nd down and 15. The clock will begin to run. It's been a quick-moving third quarter. As Doneth is under center in that wishbone. Man comes in motion. Doneth will take it himself after the fake and gets to about the 39-yard line. Gain of maybe 4.
Quarterback keeper.
So it'll be 3rd and long for Ignatius. To be exact, it'll be 3rd down and 13.
38-yard line. I'm sorry, 3rd and 13. It's their own 38.
As Ignatius will be working from their own 38-yard line. Could be a situation where Ignatius is forced to pass, but they might play it a little conservatively with the 10-point lead. Doneth. Play action, back to pass, immediately sacked by 2 different Chargers, but a flag is thrown. Shamar McDade Bishop and Antonio Hardaway were in there almost the instant it was snapped. What is the flag, though? That's the question. Are they going to call the Chargers offsides? Let's see what the call is here. Oh, are they calling a face mask? Oh, indeed, it is a face mask against St. Joseph. It was just a 5-yard face mask, though. So it does not give St. Ignatius the first down. But they do move the football 5 yards forward, and it is still 3rd down. Third and long here for Ignatius. 2:44 left, third quarter. Doneth under center. Takes snap, drops back to pass immediately. Facing some pressure, he is sacked by Shamar McDade Bishop. There he is again. There is that man. McDade Bishop has been making plays on defense all season long. Whether he's lining up on the defensive line or at linebacker, it doesn't matter. He'll get to the quarterback, and he'll get there in a hurry. And he put a big hit on Quinn Doneth there for the sack. So Ignatius will be forced to punt. Back to return for the Chargers is Desmond McPhail, standing at his own 35-yard line. Chargers currently trail by 10, 16-6, with under 2 minutes left third quarter. This punt is short, and it goes out of bounds at about the 45-yard line of St. Joseph. So good field position here on a key drive for the Chargers. This drive will probably extend into the fourth quarter with 1:51 remaining. And St. Joe currently trailing by 10. Can they get this offense going once again? We saw it near the end of that first half. The passing game really started to work for St. Joe. But here in the second half, they have been stymied by the defense of St. Ignatius. Hayden is out in the shotgun, and he just whispered something to Malik Mason, and you wonder if he was telling him to run deep. They got two receivers to the near side. Hayden takes the snap. He's facing pressure, and he'll just throw this ball away as he had gotten out of the pocket. So no intentional grounding there. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Smart decision there by Hayden as the pressure was starting to come for St. Ignatius. We've seen tonight, if Hayden is just able to get some time, he's been successful. The screen game has also really been working for the Chargers offense. 2nd down and 10. Two receivers to the near side, one to the far side, one man in the backfield with Hayden. Hayden facing pressure, steps up in the pocket, and he will be sacked.
With the tackle.
Maybe lost a yard there on the sack as he was able to get close to the line of scrimmage. David Dingens made the sack. 3rd and 11 for St. Joe. They had a big play on 3rd down earlier in this ball game. I'll see if they can do it again here. On the 3rd down and 11, two receivers to each side. Zion Timms in the backfield with Hayden, who's in the shotgun. Hayden takes the snap. Steps up in the pocket. He's going to chuck it deep down the near side of the field for Malik Mason. He catches it at the 20-yard line. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Chargers. Malik Mason was wide open. He took it in the end zone after catching it at the 20. But a flag was thrown at the end of the play. It might have been for a celebration. Let's see what it is. What a throw by Hayden, avoiding the pressure. Throwing to the near side of the field where Mason was wide open after the defender had fallen down. And it was an easy jog into the end zone for Mason after that. To make it a 16-12 ball game, let's see what this call is. And it looks like it is a personal foul on sportsmanlike conduct going against St. Joseph. The touchdown is good, though, and that's the important thing. So this will probably be enforced on the kickoff.
15-yard penalty will be enforced on the ensuing kickoff.
So the score is 16-12, a very important extra point here for Zach Ford, as it's currently a 4-point game, looking to make it a field goal game here with 53 seconds left in the third quarter. Snap is down. It's good. The extra point is up and through. 16-13. It's a new ball game. Just a field goal difference between these two teams with 53 seconds left in the third quarter. What a throw by Caleb Hayden to Malik Mason, who was wide open at the 20-yard line and found his way into the end zone for the touchdown down the near sideline to turn this into a 3-point game. But that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty could hurt the Chargers here as it'll move them back 15 yards on the kickoff. Zach Ford will be forced to kick off from his own 25-yard line. This time, we'd like to remind you that the third quarter of tonight's game is brought to you by Meatheads. Hey, Charger fans, don't forget to stop by Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst and enjoy our fast casual family restaurant that serves fresh experiences. Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst. Ford will be forced to kick off from his own 25 following the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. The Chargers were lining up at the 30 there. The official had to move them back 5 more yards to the 25. A 16-13 lead for St. Ignatius with 53 seconds left here in the third quarter, and what undoubtedly has been the most thrilling game of the season so far for St. Joseph, the most exciting game. A lot of big plays in this ball game for the Chargers, and they had one right there with a touchdown by Malik Mason on a 3rd and long play. Ford kicking off from his own 25. Line drive kick. It'll take a bounce, a St. Joe bounce, and it'll finally be taken at about the 15. And finally brought down at about the 30-yard line. Here's the return man for Ignatius, Aiden Umet. So Ignatius will take over with 47 seconds left in this third quarter and a 16-13 lead.
First and 10 at their own 31-yard line.
They'll start from their own 31. 1st and 10. Donath under center. 2 receivers to his left. Couple of tight ends in there. They'll pitch it out immediately, and space on the near sideline there for Campbell Collum as he's able to work his way to the 40-yard line of St. Ignatius. A 9-yard gain. It will be 2nd and 1. St. Ignatius now at their own 40, but they may let the clock wind down here to take us to the fourth quarter. We'll see if they get another playoff. Third quarter clock winding down below 15 seconds. They may get one more snap in here. Donath will fake the handoff, take it himself, and he picks up the first down. That will be the final play of the third quarter. We have got a barn burner for you here at St. Ignatius. It is 16-13. The St. Ignatius Wolfpack with the lead over the St. Joe Chargers. But what a third quarter that was. St. Joe found themselves trailing by 10, but the long touchdown pass to Malik Mason from Caleb Hayden. And all of a sudden, the Chargers are within 3 as we go into the fourth quarter. And hey, folks, it's the fourth quarter, and what do we call that? We call that the money period. Brought to you by Wood Forest Bank, the official bank of Arena Sportsnet. Visit them online at woodforest.com for more information. What a thriller this has been in a CCL crossover game between St. Ignatius and St. Joseph. The Wolfpack will start with possession in this fourth quarter after picking up that first down to end the third. So a huge possession for the Charger defense, trying to keep this to a 3-point game. Ignatius will start from their own 44-yard line, moving right to left down the field. They hand off up the middle, and that is stopped at the line of scrimmage by the Charger defense. A couple of different St. Joe players were in there. Looked like Shamar McDade Bishop and also Anthony Brown got in on the action. Second down and 9, maybe 10. About a half a yard was gained there for Ignatius. As Donath will be under center, wishbone formation. Man comes in motion, play action pass, and it's complete out to Aiden Boyle, and he made the catch at about the 45 where he was tackled, and that'll move the chains for a first down. So we see the passing game have some success for Ignatius. There it was the quick pass. Their passing game has taken a while to develop because the quarterback, Donath, has to back up out of going under center, and by that time, usually the Chargers have him sacked. In this case, it was a quick throw, 3-step drop, and a completion for the first down to Aiden Boyle. 10:45 remaining, fourth quarter, 16-13, Ignatius with the lead, and they're on the drive at the 45-yard line of St. Joseph, and a timeout. I thought that there had been a flag, but the timeout is called by St. Ignatius. So they have used 2 timeouts here in the second half already, and they only have 1 remaining. We still have 10:39 to go in this fourth quarter. That could come into play later in this ball game. Looked like St. Ignatius did not like what they were seeing with how the offense was lined up against the Charger defense. A great atmosphere out here at St. Ignatius. Very nice crowd on hand. It is senior night for Ignatius. They honored the seniors at halftime of this ball game. And one of those seniors who's had a big impact is Quinn Donath at quarterback, having to read the Charger defense with that wishbone option. He's done a solid job. The key for St. Joe is to force Ignatius into 2nd and long and 3rd and long and force Donath to drop back to pass, because then the pass rush has been having great success with Shamar McDade Bishop, Malik Mason, and Anthony Brown. Donath will go under center. A couple of wing backs, another back behind him, and 2 wide receivers. Donath will pitch out, and a gain. Oh, a broken tackle there by Callum. And Callum is all the way to about the 25-yard line of St. Joe.
Carrier, good for your Wolfpack. First down.
Campbell Callum has made some big plays in this ball game. They'll have 1st and 10. And they're at the Chargers' 26-yard line here with 10:25 to play in the ball game. 3-point lead for Ignatius. At the very least, the Chargers need to hold Ignatius to a field goal here. 1st and 10 from the 26. Donath in the wishbone formation. Quarterback sneak right up the middle. And he's brought down after a gain of about 3 yards. Looked like he was stopped initially, but then a secondary push ended up gaining some yardage for Ignatius.
Good for 2 yards. St. Ignatius has 2nd and 8. The ball is.
I'll actually mark it 2 yards, so it'll be 2nd down and 8.
4-yard line.
This is a key play for this defense. Can they force Ignatius into a 3rd and long situation and force them to pass? Donath will go under center again. Wishbone formation. 1 receiver to each side. Man comes in motion. They give it to the fullback up the middle. He stopped right away. Malik Mason made the tackle. Maybe a yard there. So it'll be 3rd down. Looks like 3rd and about 6. So this is still a situation where Ignatius may be able to run it. But on 3rd and 6, they could decide to pass it. And that's what the Chargers are hoping. 3rd and 6. Donath fakes up the middle, take it himself. He has space, and he will head into the end zone for a touchdown on the quarterback keeper. The Chargers defense bit on the fullback dive. Donath pulled it out himself, and he will run it in easily into the end zone for the touchdown to make it 22-13. And the extra point would put Ignatius back up by 10. Well, the Chargers were buying right into that give right up to the fullback. Donath had him fooled. Was able to keep it for the touchdown. Extra point attempt is blocked by the Chargers.
New score,
Malik Mason came in there and swatted that ball out of the air. So the score is 22-13. St. Ignatius with the lead with 8:36 to play here in the fourth quarter. Certainly still a chance for the Chargers in this ball game, but they know they're going to have to move quickly considering the ball control of this St. Ignatius offense running that wishbone option. They milk quite a bit of clock every time they have the football. The last possession was no exception. Just 8.5 minutes remaining in this one. And the 9-point lead for Ignatius. Still a 2-possession game, unfortunately, for the Chargers. In to kick off is George Moynihan, who just had that extra point blocked by Malik Mason, who's having a huge game, by the way. A touchdown catch, a long touchdown catch, also a sack and a couple of stuffs on the run on the defensive line. But the Chargers still trail by 9 with 8:36 to play. Here's Moynihan's kick. They go with a squibber. It is picked up at about the 25 and brought down at the 30. Is Justin Freeman, or rather Trezon Timms, who was taking that return. And there is a flag down. Let's see what the call is. They're pointing against St. Joseph. Looks like a hold. Official signal. It's an illegal block in the back. That will push the Chargers back 10 yards from where Trezon Timms was able to take that kickoff return. So St. Joe will start with it. A little bit tough to tell from my angle, but it looks like about their own 15-yard line. 1st and 10 Chargers. Hayden takes the snap, looking to pass, quick outlook to Mason, but it was batted down by Ignatius. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. Chargers trailing by 9 points, 22-13 with 8:25 remaining in the ball game. St. Joe was within 3 at the end of the third quarter. But that last touchdown run by Donath put Ignatius up by 9. Hayden giving the play call to his line. Heads back in the shotgun. Trips to his left, and now looks like St. Joe calls a timeout as there was some confusion offensively. We've told you about it a couple of times tonight because we're so excited about it. Join us tomorrow from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis as we present live coverage of the 34th Circle City Classic featuring the Kentucky State Thoroughbreds and the Central State Marauders. Brian Snow will have the call, and we start our festivities at 2:30 Eastern Time. Just log on to arenasportsnet.com, click Listen Live, or download the TuneIn app and search Arena Sportsnet. Again, very happy for Brian Snow, the man in charge here at Arena Sportsnet, getting the opportunity to call the Circle City Classic. Should be a fun one tomorrow down in Indy. Current situation for St. Joe, 2nd down and 10 after the pass was batted down. Chargers at their own 15-yard line, trailing by 9 points. Hayden looking deep, has a man out there, Malik Mason. Oh, it's in and out of his hands. Oh, and Mason is extremely upset with himself there as that pass was right on the money. And as he heads to the sidelines, he's limping a little bit, so that may have affected him as he tried to catch that football. But he is very upset with himself there. That could have been 6 points. As Hayden put that ball right into the hands of Mason, he just couldn't make the catch at about the 45-yard line of Ignatius. Chargers currently at their own 15, 3rd down and 10, 8:19 to play. They trail by 9. Trips to the left for the Chargers. Hayden takes the snap, throws a quick screen, batted down, incomplete. Chargers were looking to go to Zion Timms. Question is, 4th and 10 from your own 15. It's not a situation where you can really go for it as Zach Ford is coming out of the field. Trailing by 9 points. On your own 15, you don't want it to get to a 3-possession game. So the hope here for the Chargers is that they can punt this ball, get a quick stop to get the football back, and get this back to a 1-possession ball game. Ford's back to punt. It's a nice kick. It'll bounce at about the 48, take a St. Joseph roll to about the 41-yard line of St. Ignatius, and that's where their offense will start with 8 minutes remaining in the ball game. Ignatius leading this one 22-13. If you're just joining us, the Wolfpack had a 9-0 lead. Before St. Ignatius was able to get back into it, it was sparked by a long catch and run by Zach Ford, a 74-yard catch and run, and then a touchdown pass from Caleb Hayden in the red zone. It was 9-6 at halftime. Ignatius scored another touchdown on a run by Joe Loftus. But then the Chargers cut back with a Malik Mason touchdown catch to make it 16-13. Then Donath ran one in to make it 22-13. 1st and 10, a pitch out to Callum, and he picks up about 3 yards on 1st down.
Callum, the ball carrier, up to the 44.
So it'll be 2nd down and 7 from the 44 of St. Ignatius.
St. Ignatius has 2nd and 6 at their own 40.
With 7.5 minutes to play in the ball game, Ignatius trying to run as much clock as possible. And with it being a 2-possession game, the Chargers need to stop as quickly as possible. Donath under center. They give it up the middle to Loftus. He has some space. He's all the way to the 40 of St. Joe. The unfortunate thing for the Chargers right now is they have to play aggressively. And if they don't get that initial penetration into the backfield, it leaves some open running lanes. And that's exactly what Loftus took advantage of there to pick up the 1st down. About 7 minutes left here in the 4th quarter. 22-13. Ignatius with the lead. 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line of the Chargers. Donath under center. Man comes in motion. Give it up to the fullback, Loftus. And he's pushing his way forward for about 4 yards.
Loftus, the ball carrier.
But the biggest enemy of the Chargers right now is that clock. Under 6.5 minutes left to play now. And still a 2-possession ball game.
St. Ignatius has 2nd and 7.
2nd down and 7 for Ignatius. Donath, the under center in that wishbone formation. Gives to Loftus up the middle, and he is stuffed. No gain on that play. As the Chargers were ready for the fullback give. That'd been the bread and butter for Ignatius on this drive so far.
No gain.
Mackay Island made the stop.
The ball on the St. Joe's 36-yard line.
So it'll be 3rd down and 7 from the 36 of St. Joe. And can't reiterate enough, this is a must stop here with 5:40 remaining in the game. Clock running. 22-13 lead for St. Ignatius. Donath Under center, that wishbone formation, 2 wingbacks, 1 back behind him, the fullback Loftus. 1 wide receiver to each side. Donath takes the snap, play action. He's rolling to his right. Now he's going to run with it. He's near the first down. Does he have it? It looks like he does from where the official is standing. Oh, they're going to mark him just short, actually. So it'll be 4th and very short here, less than a yard. And Ignatius' offense is still on the field with under 5 minutes to play. A first down here would really be a backbreaker for the Chargers. They have to make a push to get this stop on 4th and less than 1. Donath under center. And whistle blows, there's a flag. Let's see who this is against. Wait a minute, the officials are gathering to discuss here who this penalty is on. Let's see the call. The call is encroachment against St. Joseph. That'll be a first down for St. Ignatius. And now with 4:38 remaining in the fourth quarter, a crucial mistake there as the clock will run under 4.5 minutes. And Ignatius is all the way to the 24 of St. Joe. They have a 9-point lead, and they will take their sweet time to snap the football, and as they should, really. Donath is under center. Wishbone formation, man in motion. Fakes the fullback give, keeps it himself down the right side toward the end zone. Touchdown. The quarterback keeper works to perfection, and Quinn Donath takes it into the end zone to make it a 28-13 ball game. But the good news for St. Joseph is it's still a 2-possession ball game unless Ignatius decides to go for 2 here. So it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. The worst thing that could have happened there is to allow Ignatius to continue running down the clock. Not saying that you want to automatically give up that touchdown, but it's not going to make a huge amount of difference. Here's the extra point, and they fake it. Donath has it. He's looking for a man in the corner of the end zone. Now he's going to run with it, and he is brought down as he tried to throw it, and a flag was thrown near the end of this play. They might be getting Antonio Hardaway for a horse collar tackle. Either that or intentional grounding. Those are the only 2 things I could see. I'm not sure if Hardaway did reach inside the shoulder pads, but it looked like he did grab Donath up high, and then Donath kind of just chucked it in the ground, so it could be intentional grounding. Let's see what the call. It is a personal foul. It's actually a face mask. Or rather, they did call it a horse collar. So the ball's moved up to the 1.5, and now Ignatius will put their regular offense on the field. They faked it on the extra point attempt. And if they're able to score here and make it a 17-point game, a 3-possession game, that would really pretty much do it for this one with 4:07 remaining in the fourth quarter. Donath under center. Wishbone formation, 1 receiver to each side, and the Chargers jump past the line of scrimmage. Well, we talked to Coach Rich Petrosky, and he told me on his show last night that in these type of situations close to the goal line, they do try to time that snap. And same thing in this situation. Why not give that a try, especially considering you're trying to keep Ignatius from making this a 3-possession ball game? As now Donath will head towards the sideline to get a play call from head coach Matt Miller. Donath will go under center. And once again, St. Joe jumps offside with Shamar McDade Bishop. And that seems like Ignatius is a bit frustrated with this. So this is a 2-point attempt for Ignatius. The ball has been moved about as close as possible, with it being moved half the distance to the goal 2 separate times. And an official just directed Shamar McDade Bishop to come off the field. Not sure what the reasoning for that was. The hope is that he's not ejected. That would be a major blow to St. Joseph. 4:07 left to play in this ball game. Donath under center. Well, the clock will not run, and once again the Chargers pass the line of scrimmage, an encroachment penalty. And now the officials are heading over to the St. Joseph sideline to talk to head coach Rich Petrosky. .407 left in the game. Clock will not be running. We've been waiting quite a while for this sequence of the point after attempt to come to a close. On the first attempt, St. Ignatius faked the extra point and then ended up throwing, but there was a horse collar tackle by Antonio Hardaway. And then a few encroachment penalties have put the ball about as close to the goal line as possible. And Ignatius is clearly going for 2 here with the 15-point lead, trying to make it a 3-possession game. Donath under center wishbone formation. They'll give up the middle to the fullback. Does he have it? Yes, he does. 2-point conversion is good. That will make it a 17-point lead for St. Ignatius, 30-13.
New score, St. Ignatius 31, St. Joe's.
So finally, after numerous attempts, Ignatius is able to get in with the 2-point conversion to make it the 3-possession ball game. So here with 4:07 remaining in the game, 30-13, St. Ignatius. And at this time, we'd like to remind you that tonight's game and all St. Joseph Chargers programming is presented by Meatheads in Elmhurst, a place you can enjoy with your whole family from the moment you walk into the door until the moment you leave. Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst. So St. Ignatius will kick off with 4:07 remaining in the game. They lead 30-13. And now the Chargers are in need of a miracle. Down by 3 possessions with just about 4 minutes left in the ball game.
Moynihan to kick off for St. Ignatius.
Moynihan will kick it off. It's a squib kick. Zach Ford will take it at about the 20. Ford finding some space. He's near the 40, and he's finally brought down just a little bit past the 40-yard line of St. Joseph. So the Chargers offense will take the ball, knowing they have to quickly score, and then St. Joe would have to go with the onside kick. A little bit of a hubbub near the sideline there, on the far sideline, as the two teams might have been a little bit of pushing and shoving there as Ford was tackled. So it'll be 1st and 10 for St. Joseph with 3:56 left in the ball game.
St. Joe's has it 1st and 10. The ball
As
is on
Caleb
the
Hayden
1-yard line.
will try to lead a miracle comeback. Chargers will be at their own 41-yard line. Two receivers to the left. Three to the right, empty backfield for the Chargers, who trail 30-13 with under 4 minutes to play. Hayden takes a high snap, facing pressure immediately. He's just going to go ahead and run with it. And he is brought down at about the 49-yard line of St. Joseph. So a gain of 8 on first down with the quarterback run. Chargers need to move quickly here, trailing by 17. 3.5 minutes left in the ball game. Hayden takes the snap, facing pressure. He'll throw it, and almost intercepted. Good play there by Malik Mason to actually play some defense for the Chargers as he broke up the interception. It was in the hands of Quinn Donath.
Break up on the pass play. 3rd and 2 for St. Joe's. The ball at their own 49-yard line.
So it'll be 3rd down and 2 for the Chargers. They're at their own 49. Empty backfield. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Hayden takes the snap. Chucking it deep downfield and just overthrown. As they're looking for Desmond McPhail, it'll be 4th and 2. Chargers have to go for it here. They trail 30-13. Empty backfield for St. Joe. Hayden takes the snap. Scrambling around. Pump fakes, and he's able to run past the first down marker to about the 35. And St. Joe wants a late hit call there as St. Ignatius kind of dragged Hayden all the way back to the sideline, and then another player came in, but no flag is thrown. So 1st and 10, St. Joe, 3:10 remaining. Currently trailing St. Ignatius 30-13. Chargers are at the 43-yard line of Ignatius. They know they've got to score quickly. Trailing by 17. Hayden looking deep for the end zone, and Tim Shannon passes incomplete. As the freshman Shannon went up for that ball, but it was just over his outstretched arms. Good coverage as well, coming from Aiden Umet. For St. Ignatius, 2:57 remaining, 30-13. The Wolfpack with the lead over St. Joseph. Empty backfield for Hayden. Chargers are at the 43-yard line of Ignatius. High snap. Hayden trying to avoid the pressure, and he's going to be sacked, and he fumbles the football. Who's going to jump on it? And it looks like it may have gone out of bounds. And now a flag is thrown. Near the end of that play, the intensity starting to wrap up. It's starting to get up, and you don't like to see this, though. It's starting to get a little bit ugly here. And you can see this happen sometimes in a game that's really closer than what the final score is. Not really blaming either team. It's unsportsmanlike conduct against the Chargers. But it has to be frustrating at this point for St. Joe, a game that they were right in, 16-13 going into this fourth quarter. They now trail 30-13.
Ball's at the St. Joe's 28-yard line.
And the ball will go all the way back to the 28-yard line of St. Joe after the 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty and after the fumble as well. So it is 3rd and a mile for the Chargers. They're at their own 28. Need to get to the 33-yard line of St. Ignatius. Third and 39. Hayden with the quick screen out to Freeman. And Freeman's brought down at the 30 of St. Joseph with 2.5 minutes left. It's 4th down. And trailing by 17 here. Chargers staying strong, not giving up on this ball game. Just over 2 minutes left as they trail by 17. 4th down and a long way to go. 4th and 31. Zach Ford makes the catch on the near sideline. He's brought down at the 41 of St. Joseph, nowhere near the first down marker. That'll be a turnover on downs with 2:04 left in a 30-13 game. And at this point, Ignatius should be able to just wind down this clock with the 17-point lead. And they have it at the 43-yard line of the Chargers. Some of the performances standing out in this ballgame. Quinn Donath at quarterback for St. Ignatius. Really impressive performance running this wishbone option offense. A couple of rushing touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Found a lot of space running the ball in the fourth quarter. And the Wolfpack now have the backup in Richard Ponce. And the first down carry to the fullback is stopped after a short gain. This clock will run. And about 1:40 left in this ball game. Also a strong performance from Joe Loftus, the fullback. Had a touchdown where he dove for the pylon. But for St. Joseph, also a couple of strong performances, especially Malik Mason. Although he did drop that pass near the end of the game, he had a long touchdown catch, also a sack. Shamar McDade Bishop as usual. Handoff up the middle here, and now there's some space for Ignatius is Elijah Williams as he is brought down inside the 20-yard line. First down for St. Ignatius with 1:18 to play. They're on the 17-yard line of St. Joe with just over a minute left in the game. Again, the backup quarterback Ponce is in there. And now with just about a minute left, he may take a knee here. Well, they'll hand it off. And stop for a loss is Elijah Williams. Just trying to get some work in for some players who don't usually see the field. Ignatius will have to take one more snap to finish out this ball game. The Wolfpack able to pick up a victory on senior night, 30-13. So now it does look like the victory formation is out there for Ignatius. Ponce will take the knee. And that will do it for this one. St. Ignatius wins the CCL crossover game against St. Joseph with the final score 30-13. A strong fourth quarter as St. Ignatius outscored the Chargers 14-0 in that fourth quarter. And tonight's post-game show is presented by Meatheads, the official sponsor of St. Joseph Chargers programming. Again, it was a 30-13 final. This game was close at moments, but Ignatius did have control for much of the ball game. The Chargers were within 3 at the end of the third quarter. But as I said, it was a 14-0 fourth quarter for St. Ignatius. As I said earlier, player of the game tonight is Quinn Donath, the starting quarterback for St. Ignatius. A couple of rushing touchdowns in that fourth quarter. For the Chargers, player of the game will be Malik Mason, as he had the long touchdown pass and the sack, as well as Zach Ford having a 74-yard catch and run. Those are your two players of the game for the Chargers. Once again, tonight's game and all St. Joseph Chargers programming is presented by Meatheads in Elmhurst, a place you can enjoy with your whole family from the moment you walk in the door until the moment you leave. Meatheads at 143 North York Street in Elmhurst. Well, for all of us here at Arena Sportsnet, I'm Connor Klingen saying so long from Fernelli Field at St. Ignatius College Prep, downtown Chicago, where the final score, the St. Ignatius Wolfpack 30, and your St. Joseph Chargers 13. We will be back with the Rich Petrosky Show next Thursday night at 7 p.m. Unfortunately, at least for the time being, I know that I will not be able to cover the game next Friday against DePaul Prep, but that is where the Chargers will play next Friday at 4:15 p.m. And hopefully the Chargers can get back on track as they fall to 2-3. St. Ignatius will improve to 4-1. Once again, the final score, St. Ignatius 30 and the St. Joseph Chargers 13.